everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Back in March of this year, President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 into law. A significant feature of the rescue plan is the extension of the child tax credit. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Congresswoman Maxine Waters visited Los Angeles recently to celebrate the new law and to meet SoCal families who have immediately reaped the benefits of this recovery measure.
The idea that we can alleviate some of the pressure that families feel is really our responsibility. This is part of the rescue package. In the rescue package was a child tax credit.
I want you to know that this response is about making sure the children have food on the table. It's about making sure they have a safe place to live and a roof over their heads. It's about making sure they have the clothing that they need to go back to school. It is about this government supporting the families of this country in an extraordinary and most unusual way.
Thank you so much for the child tax credit. It has meant a lot to our family. It was truly a great surprise, and it came right on time. My daughter's 4 years old. She's getting ready to transition into traditional elementary school. It allowed us to get her the things that she needs to go to school, uniforms, etc.
1 in 5 children in America lives in poverty. And this is part of what we're having for the children is lower costs for families, bigger paychecks for families, and cleaner government for our country so that policies for the children can succeed.
With the tax credit, it has just given me more confidence to be able to put my kids in certain programs. Different art programs, different type of STEM programs that I might have passed on prior to having the credit, just trying to make sure that I had money to for the essential bills. But now with the additional funds, it's given me an opportunity to really delve into enrichment programs for my children. And I truly think that's so important because in such, I guess, disadvantaged neighborhoods, we don't often have that opportunity. And so I think this is a great chance to give them something that I might not have been able to offer before.
It's a pretty exciting time. It's an exciting time. We have a president of the White House who has the courage, the confidence that this is the right thing for the American people. Strengthening America. We build our infrastructure, that's a wonderful thing. But we must build the human infrastructure. It's about the strength of our families.
Nancy, 88.6% or 162,000 children right here in my district will gain from expanded and improved child tax credit.
U.S. Representatives Tony Cardenas and Karen Bass recently held a news conference to highlight the Second Chance for Justice package. The package of legislative bills takes aim at reforming the treatment of minors and women who find themselves entangled in the criminal justice system.
We're here today to send a loud and clear message that our kids belong right here in schools, not behind bars, not in the back seat of a police car, and certainly not wrongfully incarcerated or wrongfully accused. I'm leading the Second Chance for Justice legislation package.
Representative Cardenas is leading a tremendous package of historic bills that really will make significant reforms to the criminal justice system. So what's important to me is that there has been a movement around our country for criminal justice reform, but in my opinion, that movement has neglected women and has neglected children.
It's expensive to warehouse people. $200,000 to warehouse a kid when we can send them to Stanford, USC, with that money and have change. The research is pretty clear. Kids don't get better being incarcerated, they get worse. I think we've all come to the realization that it's time to deal with the root cause rather than the symptom.
This package is going to correct the idea that a 14-year-old, for example, can waive his Miranda rights. That should never happen. Only adults should have the opportunity to be with that child. We have happening all over the country. You get a $100 fine, you don't pay it on time, it becomes $300, $500, $1,000. They can actually incarcerate your child if the family doesn't pay the bill. No child should be behind bars because their parents can't afford to pay the bill. It's important for people to understand that this package is going to make it a lot more sane and a lot more fair for everybody.
Countless businesses across Los Angeles are struggling to reopen or stay open despite the arrival of a new wave of COVID-19. That includes businesses with a focus in the performing arts. Hollywood stars and local leaders rallied at the Fountain Theater in Hollywood to show their support for an immediate financial relief package, the Save the Performing Arts Act. Here's that story.
Good morning, everybody. We're here! Yay! Today was important because it was an opportunity for theater artists throughout the city of Los Angeles and the state of California to speak out about the importance of art. Art is not a luxury, and I fully believe that it's essential to the recovery of the state of California after this crippling pandemic.
We cannot dismiss the value that small community theaters bring to our communities.
First of all, I'm so excited to be here today with the SB 805 Coalition. We've been working so hard to try and bring funding to our local community theaters.
I wrote a theater because I saw how many people had dreams in my community, but no one was giving them the opportunity. So my theater is the house of 1,000 dreams.
Estoy muy agradecida porque aquí estamos para ayudar a los teatros comunitarios que están batallando durante la pandemia de abrir sus puertas, y aquí estoy para darles $50 millones para que sigan con el teatro y que sigan ayudando a nuestras comunidades y nuestros niños, que es una cosa muy positiva para todos ellos.
Arts and culture in Los Angeles are in their own lane, and only live theater and experimental works are what help civilization. We can legislate to the end of the world, but if people don't have that vehicle of artistic expression and to understand things through a lens that only art can provide, then we cannot be successful as a civilization.
For the past 15 months, all of us have been in isolation, and we've been locked to our little screens at home, feeling very alone and powerless. And now is an opportunity to stand up and be heard and to speak out for an art form that requires human connection. And I think that we are all starving to connect with each other again as human beings and come back to the experience of live theater.
During the pandemic, many healthcare organizations have pivoted to bringing services to residents with localized mobile clinics. For example, Mission City Community Network recently collaborated with the office of Councilmember John Lee to provide free health screenings in Northridge. Take a look.
We need to move forward. We need to keep going. You know, if we keep moving backwards, why are we're doing all this work for what? We need to just keep going.
Today, Council District 12, Councilmember John Lee, we partnered with Mission City Community Network to provide free mental health and physical health care services, along with a free dental clinic to uninsured families or low-income families who may be in need of that.
They did the testing with a little Q-tip and went up my nose, and it felt so funny and uncomfortable. But I did it, and I did it for myself so I could feel good. To think that, you know, you're doing this to protect your family, and that, you know, it's okay to be responsible and just go do it.
I had a chance to take a tour and go inside and to see the mobile unit, and the fact that you have doctors on site, you have dentists on site, and that especially the homeless who have such a difficult time accessing services.
This is not something that one person or one organization can do. We need a collaboration and partnerships. The councilmen and other elected officials are really, advocating for community and outreaching and affordable health care in their communities.
Bueno, especialmente que nos ayuda a toda la comunidad, especialmente a los hispanos, ¿verdad? Que muchas veces no estamos protegidos, no tenemos una aseguranza, entonces aprovechamos estas oportunidades para venir y hacernos nuestra limpieza dental y los servicios pues que nos están ofreciendo en este momento.
This is something that we plan to do on an ongoing basis. There's always need, with people who may not have the resources, monetary resources for such. We also plan to extend these services out to some of our unhoused residents.
They might think that they have to pay for this kind of service, but here it's free and it's perfect for the community, so it's a good opportunity.
The Office of Councilmember Gil Cedillo teamed up with local organizations to recognize Children's Health Day in Los Angeles. The event provided back-to-school supplies, oral hygiene kits, vaccinations, and more to residents in District 1.
We're out here with our partners at National Health Foundation, Clínica Romero, Salif, and other partners here providing resources for the community. It's back to school season, so it's back to school time. We're providing backpacks, testing, vaccination, meals for the families as well. So back to school is a time for the youth to prepare for school, but also for the parents and family.
Que es una muy buena ayuda, una muy buena oportunidad también para aprender más. Como es la primera vez que yo vengo aquí, me va a servir mucho también para aprender cuáles son las ayudas, los programas que hay aquí en Los Ángeles y conocer más.
People are seeing that we're bringing these resources to them, so it is a lot better for them. They do take it as a resource that's being brought to them for good reasons. So providing testing in their neighborhood makes it easier for them to prepare to go back to school.
Veo que hay muchos apoyos también para los estudiantes y eso es muy buena opción. Y más que nada ahorita con lo del COVID, con esta pandemia que la situación se ha puesto muy difícil.
So para las personas que no pudieron asistir hoy, pueden seguir nuestras páginas como la de Facebook, que es la oficina del concejal Gil Cedillo, también la página de Instagram o hablar a nuestra oficina. This is just one of many back-to-school events that we are having throughout Council District 1. So we welcome everyone in our community to come take advantage of the resources, because it's not just back-to-school events for the kids, it's also for the families and adults.
LA Metro hosts vote-by-mail drop boxes at 10 locations. The City Council approves small business comeback checks, and Councilmember Blumenfield recognizes Brody Stevens Day. These stories up next on City Beat.
This year, LA Metro will host vote-by-mail drop boxes at 10 Metro Transit locations. Metro has installed the temporary vote-by-mail drop boxes to make it more convenient for voters during the upcoming September 14th gubernatorial recall election. Metro will make it even easier to vote on Election Day by providing free rides on its trains, buses, and bike share. For information on vote-by-mail drop box locations and all other LA Metro Election Day initiatives, visit metro.net. Help is on the way for struggling for-profit small businesses in Los Angeles. Mayor Eric Garcetti and the Los Angeles City Council have allocated a portion of the $50 million in funding from the American Rescue Plan Act toward small business comeback checks. These checks will be used to implement a series of programs that promote economic recovery in Los Angeles. The Economic and Workforce Development Department will be serving as administrator for this program. To learn more about the upcoming programs and to see if your business qualifies, visit bit.ly/LA Business Source. Councilmember Bob Blumenfield led a small gathering to declare August 18th Brody Stevens Day in the city of Los Angeles. The dedication was a memorial to the beloved stand-up comedian and actor. The event took place at what is affectionately known as Brody's Bench in Reseda Park. Stevens was known for his reality series on Comedy Central and for his appearances on Chelsea Lately. Stevens committed suicide in 2019 after a long battle with mental illness. If you need crisis support, you can contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen was recently quoted as saying, "This major middle-class tax relief and step in reducing child poverty is a remarkable economic victory for America." She was, of course, referring to the Biden child tax credit. One of California's most staunch supporters of that law was Jimmy Gomez, U.S. Representative of California's 34th District. The congressman stopped by Channel 35 to discuss the importance of family and public service.
Congratulations, you are now a member of the 115th Congress.
I'm delighted today to be joined by Congressman Jimmy Gomez. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Your road to Congress is fascinating for a number of reasons. I mean, you're the child of immigrant parents. You watched your parents work really, really hard to make ends meet. So what did you see and what did you hear and what were you taught that thought, okay, I can do this. I can be a public servant and I may be able to affect change?
Yeah, first, my parents were from Mexico. My dad actually came here as a bracero, worked in the fields. It was a program for farm workers back in the 40s and the 50s. He came in the late 50s. He was like one of the last cohorts to come out here.
Braceros. In Spanish, this means a man who works with his arms and hands.
It wasn't like Ozzie and Harriet where we sit around the table and they would give us a lecture of what we should learn from. It was more like setting an example. You work hard, you take care of your family, you make sure that you're doing well by your community, and you give to people who have less than you.
Are you folks proud?
Yeah, they're definitely proud. My dad passed away. He wasn't around to see it, but he was always proud of it for him. And then my mom was, she's always been proud, no matter what I did. That's, I think, what made them great parents. They didn't care if I became an elected official or if I worked at a job where I was just taking care of my family. They would have been proud either way.
So are you feeling optimistic? Are you feeling positive? Are you feeling as if we're moving in a good direction and that government is efficiently working or has the potential to?
Yeah, I do feel optimistic when it comes to different things that we've done. You have to make different decisions if you want different results. And during the American Rescue Plan, we passed an expanded monthly child tax credit. And it ranges anywhere from $250 to $300 per child per month. That one bill, that one piece of legislation is cutting child poverty anywhere from 45% to 61% in this country. One policy change. So policy can work if you make different decisions when you're shaping that policy. Who is it going to help? Who is it going to impact? And does it work? How is you going to implement it? So I am hopeful that people are seeing the results of what we're trying to do that will lead us to make better decisions when it comes to housing, homelessness, climate change, education, where we target resources so that we can get a bigger return on our hard-earned tax dollars.
Well, it's been an honor and privilege to chat with you today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Southland kids were treated to tips from the pros at a recent summer sports clinic. The Los Angeles Rams joined forces with the LA Department of Recreation and Parks to bring lessons in football and teamwork to young Angelinos.
Today we're having an event for the inner city youth. The idea of this camp is to pull them off the streets, give them something to be active within the community. We're going to teach them some drills today to make sure that safety is first, and then in turn we're going to complete with a flag football game.
En esta comunidad es muy importante porque muchos de los niños a veces están en casa jugando los videos electrónicos y están en los teléfonos, por esto les dan una oportunidad para venir acá, para venir a conocer el parque y los otros programas que también tenemos.
This is really a blessing for all the kids. I see all the activities that they in, and I think it helps. I know some individuals that, grew up playing sports, and it helps carve their lives. It helps them in the future to be disciplined, to, kind of want to do more in life.
Pre-pandemic, we were running quite a few of these camps with a little bit different structure, more coaches, more drills. Obviously the pandemic hit, it started to slow the process a little bit, basically to where it came to a halt last year. We've now seen a little bit of relief, albeit we are dealing with the variant. What we have done is downsize the camp, Again, focusing on safety and health first, but still giving them an opportunity to release some of that energy that they've got built up inside of them.
Yo pienso que es buena atracción para los niños, para que se mantengan ocupados y tengan en qué entretenerse. Es el segundo año que mis hijos juegan en este parque y lo adoro, lo amo.
The conjunction here with the LA Rams is obviously with the Summer Night Lights, which is with the mayor's office, with Eric Garcetti, and also with the GREIG program. So this is a good way of them being exposed to different kind of sports and different activities to do to keep them busy.
The good folks over at the Department of Recreation and Parks have been keeping busy this summer. Next, they teamed up with staff from the office of Councilmember John Lee to cut the ribbon on a newly renovated playground for the residents of West Hills. Take a look.
We just had a fabulous ribbon cutting ceremony for a brand new park in the West Hills community, which will provide fun, safe entertainment for the community for years to come. The neighborhood council got together and wanted to upgrade the existing park that was here, and they came up with a plan, approached Department of Recreation and Parks, and through Measure A, they provided the funding to be able to build this beautiful park today.
This park is going to be full. People, they love the parks. I've lived here for almost 21 years. We have a couple of parks, and when the weather is nice, they're always full.
Este parque no es un parque grande, es un parque más pequeño, pero sí sirve a la comunidad.
We've integrated shade now, so we have plenty of shade for the children. There is a playground in here for the younger kids, which is easier to access, easier playground equipment. Some of the climbers are easier for them to get up on. We've got swings. We've got baby bucket swings, which we didn't have originally. Much improved.
This is one of those little cornerstone parks that the average person might not notice from the street, but it really has a lot of value to this community.
There is a fine tradition in Council District 7 that has returned for summer. Picnicking and swimming while watching a movie under the stars. And Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez was happy to safely bring that tradition back to our community for the 2021 season.
Welcome to Bikini Bottom in the 7th District. We're here at Hansen Dam, which is located in Lakeview Terrace, the largest municipal pool in the country, and we're having one of our most famous movie nights at the pool.
I think it's different. I like things like this. It's nice to do things with your children, and if you can do it outdoors, it's even better.
This is a really great opportunity for us to get young people back together before they're supposed to go back to the classroom to celebrate kind of the culmination of summer. The added benefit is that we've also been able to get a lot of folks vaccinated tonight. We've had this pop-up vaccination site as well as COVID-19 testing, and I'm happy to say that people are taking full advantage of the opportunity that we've presented here.
It's been a nice, relaxing day, you know. She goes back to school on Monday, and pretty nice, pleasant weekend, you know. I didn't expect this today, and it's really nice.
The homelessness crisis is one of the most tenacious issues we face here in Los Angeles, and Councilmember Bob Blumenfield has met the issue head-on with the installment of interim housing sites, fittingly called cabin communities. I had a chance to sit down with the council member to talk about what he is doing in District 3 to help get people off the streets. Tiny homes, or cabin communities initiative as you call it, how is the Sycamore cabin community progressing?
We've got 2 cabin communities now in my district, and they're both doing really well. We have one cabin community right behind my district office where we have about 52 cabins. That has been up and running since June, so relatively new, but it's full. A lot of folks are having their lives transformed. They're no longer on the street. They're living in these cabins. They're getting services, 3 meals a day, shower, restrooms, the whole 9 yards in terms of that. And it's not having a negative impact on the community as some people feared. And then we have a second cabin community, which we're calling Sunflower. The first one we call Sycamore. And that's in Tarzana, right off the Orange Line. And that one just opened up a couple of weeks ago. Here I am at Cabin 76. This is where I'm spending the night tonight. Come on in.
And I know you had the experience of actually spending, was it a night in one of the cabins?
Yes, yeah.
First-hand experience?
Yeah, no, I wanted to know, and Hope of the Valley offered this as a, they're the service operator. They put together a night before it officially opened for the clients. We all basically were able to spend the night there to get a sense of what that's really like. Obviously, it's not the same exact experience that someone is going to have when you've been living on the streets, because you know going in it's just one night. I can tell you it was a comfortable bed. It had air conditioning, heat, Wi-Fi, a short walk across the way to the restrooms. Showers were nice. For someone who's living on the streets, it's transformative. The amenity that is most important to someone who's been on the street, it's not the showers or the meals. It's something very small. It's a lock. It's having a locking door so that you can sleep at night without fear of being rousted or a predator or someone coming by. And just that tiny little lock, a little piece of metal, makes all the difference in the world for someone. People describe their experience of finally being able to rest. Each person who's in one of these cabins has a caseworker, and part of the condition of being in that cabin is that you're working toward your case. That's what keeps people in that cabin, is that they are working for their future. And it's not meant to be a forever home by any means. It's meant to be a transition. You are out of survival mode and you're into future mode. The streets cannot be the waiting room for permanent supportive housing. So these kinds of interim solutions help people transition from a life on the street. They need something like this to get them to that next step.
Log on to a lecture about Oaxacan cuisine. Sign up for a recycled paper art workshop or attend a free performance of Shakespeare in Griffith Park. All this up next on Things to Do.
LAMADE, the artist series from the Los Angeles Public Library, proudly brings you Guelaguetza Restaurant and LA Taco. Join a delectable chat between Bricia Lopez from the award-winning restaurant Guelaguetza and Javier Cabral, editor of the popular website LA Taco. In this LAMADE lecture, they will discuss Oaxacan food, taco culture, Koreatown, women-owned restaurants, and much more. Don't miss LAMADE, Guelaguetza Restaurant, and LA Taco, streaming Thursday, September 2nd, beginning at 4 p.m. You can catch the discussion on the library's YouTube channel and Facebook page. The Center for the Arts Eagle Rock invite you to their Work with What You Have recycled paper craft workshop. In this eco-friendly workshop, learn how to use recycled materials to create unique paper sheets and paper pulp sculptures with artist Billy Frolov. The registration fee for the workshop is $25. This in-person event is open to fully vaccinated adults only. Don't miss the Work with What You Have recycled paper craft workshop happening Wednesday, September 1st at 4:30 p.m. For details on this event and the entire workshop series, visit cfaer.org. The Independent Shakespeare Company is proud to bring you a new production for the 2021 Griffith Park Free Shakespeare Festival. This year, ISC brings to the outdoor stage their newest production of The Tempest. In accordance with health and safety guidelines, only 70 pods are available for reservation at each performance. Each pod will comfortably seat 4 adults, so act now. Reservations go very quickly. Catch a performance Wednesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. For more information, visit iscla.org/festival-2021. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.